Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. Whether you are joining us here in America or from a different country, this is the BS Buddies podcast where hitting subscribe is easier than deciding who to vote for, especially the past few times. But we won't get into that. We have created our own aliases that will be running for the US presidency. We got names, we got new parties, we got things we want to implement. Join
Things
us
is
for the
a
ride.
very large understatement for what I would consider to be some of the worst economical policies I've ever seen in my life, especially considering let's see, one, two, three, four, all of them have nothing to do with economics
Yes.
and exactly everything to do with BS, which if you didn't figure out, you just, look at the name in the corner, whichever one it's in. Just pretend that I'm pointing to the right one. Yep, BS. Yeah, got it.
So
And
join us on our trip because this is mostly going to be improv besides our names and the other stuff we came up with. Everything else is improv. Join us and see where our minds go. So I will start. I am no longer Joe for this episode. My name is Jordon Knutz, Knutz, and I am supporting the Porpoise Party. You may ask, what is that, Jordon? And it's an acronym. It is an acronym for people ordering royal purple hors d'oeuvres inside 7-Eleven. We're starting off strong. We got a slogan. It's called "We Got the Balls." We got the balls to take on anything. Like the first thing that we will implement is the banning of lemurs.
the banning of lemurs.
Banning
You know
of
what?
lemurs.
Tell me more, Mr. Nuts.
Don't worry, we'll get there. We got a few more, and then I want to know all about you. So, also, as Jordan, I believe the moon is hollow, and we can get into that. We will be fighting for Ice Cream Fridays. And for the last one that wasn't really chosen by me, Chernobyl was an economical benefit for humanity. So
I'd like
glad
to take a
I
quick
didn't pick that one.
I'd like to take a quick pause because on my notes I wrote down no lemurs for you, and then I circled it and I drew a little arrow so that I would remember that it's in the order of lists. However, I happened to put the arrow right next to where I wrote Chernobyl was an ecological benefit. So according to my notes, it looks like it killed lemurs, which was the ecological benefit that we received.
But I haven't. I don't know your name or your party. I don't even know who I'm fighting for the presidency. Please enlighten me.
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. Hello, America. It is me, Izaiah M. Nautalier. That's right. I am Nautalier here on the stand tonight with you, America, with this improv presidential debate, much like the ones that happen in our country on this very. Yeah. Anyways,
We're not going to touch on
we
that.
we have got some wonderful issues to bring to your plate tonight that I know many of you out there also have concerns about. I represent the Toblerone Party, the TBP, or the TP for short. In case you're in a hurry and you need to write some shorthand. Our tagline for the Toblerone Party: slightly better than your average monarchy. Hey, it's honest, isn't it? We are fighting. I am fighting to remove the letter S from our alphabets. That's right. My name is Isaiah with a Z. Those S's, too many curves, too wild, too crazy. We need to get it out of here. I believe also that the Titanic was an inside job. That Canadian iceberg rammed into the ship, not the other way around. And we will get to the bottom of that mystery.
the bottom of the
Finally,
ocean.
and finally, we have on our agenda tonight is that penguins are not real. We need Big Arctic to stop lying to us. Flightless birds in the winter? Give me a break. Clearly, we're being lied to.
Sources
Those
tell me there's one other thing that you do not believe in. Can you answer that as well? It's just the rumor.
that is true. Uh written down there on the bottom of my notes. My bad. The teleprompter went out for a second. I couldn't read it. My other my other my other belief: traffic lights. They gotta go. All right. You ever been driving down the road and you see one of those things, with the changing lights, and you gotta like sometimes come to a stop, and then sometimes it's like yellow, and you're like, I don't know what to do. Yeah, no, we're gonna get them out of here. We need free flowing traffic, all directions, crossways, every which way. And I don't think roundabouts are the answer either. But more on those topics on tonight's presidential debate. Thanks for joining us, America.
And for the first debate that we will have, where do you see voting rights in America?
Voting rights in America. Thank you for the question, Mr. Moderator, and also Mr. Knutz. That's very confusing to shift between the two. Anyways, voting rights.
It's going to be a confusing
Everyone knows that we have voting rights. We vote right, but I'll tell you what, it's even harder to vote left, especially when I'm right-handed. And that's why we need to take the letter S out of our alphabets, because I can't write an S with my left hand. So how am I supposed to be able to write on my voting ballot if I can't write the letter S? And that's why we need to remove it from our alphabets. Fundamentally, the letter S is holding us back from so many great successes in life. Successes. You see that? The S made a Z sound. Why does S need to make a Z sound? It makes no sense.
It needs to make sense, because how would we have our ice cream Sundays on our Fridays? How am I supposed to tell the good people about ice cream Sundays on Fridays?
Well, you tell them about ice cream Sundays, clearly. I know my opponent, Mr. Knutz, also has a Z in his name, but he doesn't feel as strongly about this issue as I do, America. You don't need to listen to him. He thinks the S is beautiful with all its curves and sloppy all around. No, we like straight lines. Mr. Knutz doesn't want straight lines. He wants weird curvy lines. Mr. Knutz needs to get his head out of his you-know-where, because clearly straight lines are the way to go in this
country. For your information, my middle name is Samuel from my father. You're speaking to good old JSK here. I will not be disgraced, especially by those damn lemurs. We need to rid the country of lemurs, and if successful, the entire world. I do not wish to move it. I never have in my life.
Well, that is interesting, because we actually have here with us tonight a certain lemur who has some questions for Mr. Knutz, and I will let him take the stand. Pull my microphone out. Pass it off.
Yes, young sir.
Hello, my name is King Julian. I am here tonight with my good friend Maurice and Mort. Hello. Shut up, Mort. Nobody wants you. Go touch somebody's feet. Mr. Knutz.
Hey, that's my wife.
Mort, get back here. Mr. Knutz, please tell me, why do you want to get rid of all the lemurs when clearly we know how to move it the best? Have you not heard the jam? Move it. It's pretty funky. We got a whole island full of lemurs where you can come and party with us and learn how to move it. Do you want to get rid of lemurs because you don't think they can move it?
It is not that I don't think you guys can move it, move it. I just want you to move it off the face of the earth. So you see, there was an accident in my childhood when I tried to move it, and it ended tragically. I don't want to get into specifics. I'm working through it with my therapist. But as soon as I heard Mambo number 5, I wish to not move it. I wish to, we won't get into that bit. But
Okay. Well, I believe my subordinate Mort also has a question for you. I will pass the mic on to him.
yes, young sir.
Thank you, King Julian. I love your feet, King Julian. They're wonderful. Anyways, Mr. Knutz, I was wondering if we have to move it off the face of the earth, where can we move to? Do you want us to move to the moon? Because I could kind of live on the moon. It seems pretty cool up there, you know. I heard it's made out of cheese.
I think you are wrong with your cheese part, but luckily for you guys, you can moonwalk all the way to the moon and moonwalk to the center of it and fill as many lemurs into it as possible because it is in fact hollow. I have my sources.
Wow, pretty cool. When did we build a bridge all the way to the moon?
We're currently working on that. We're about halfway done. We will be fully done with your financial support.
Thank you.
All right, and that was all that we have heard from our lemur friends this evening. Clearly, young Mort very excited to move to the moon. King Julian, not so much. We didn't hear much words out of Maurice, mostly because my voice isn't deep enough for that. Moving on.
But that brings us to our next topic. How do you feel about mass incarceration? Do you think throw a lot of people in jail, or let them roam free?
Now, see, here's the thing, all right? Mass incarceration, mass incineration, they sound similar? I think not. Okay, when you put a whole bunch of people in tiny rooms, what happens if those rooms flood? The ship goes down, okay? And clearly, we know that that is what happened the night the Titanic sank 112 years ago. Now, I know Mr. Knutz hasn't touched base on this, so I think I will bring it up for the benefit of all the American people out there. Clearly, the iceberg, from the evidence and the studies we have conducted, show that the Canadians are actually at fault for the sinking of the Titanic. That's right, folks. They had hidden, advanced iceberg technology. See, what you don't know is that while you might think the moon is hollow when in fact it's made out of cheese, I know this. I do. The iceberg was hollow. Why? Because it was being piloted by Canadians, and they drove that iceberg into the ship. Why? Because they didn't like the hubris, the idea that someone could sail through their waters, and so they had to bring that ship down. And I think it is time that we expose the truth and we bring justice to those poor souls that went down in the icy drink on that day. And that is my stance on mass incarceration.
I that was wonderful. But I don't think you cared if it went down because back then they used S's, the SS Titanic. So maybe it was your great grandfather who piloted that. So you could rid the world of S's way before. Maybe it's a family thing. I don't know. I'm just speculating. Or zeculating, as someone may think.
Speculating. Thank you, Mr. Knutz, for using inclusive language for me. Now, clearly, this is an attempt to take a dig at me, but as we all know, that phonics and phonetics and letters and numbers can change and evolve over time with language. I mean, SOS didn't even come out as a code until, I don't know. And so clearly
Definitely
back
not
then
in
the
Titanic
SS,
time.
The SS Titanic was made back in a time when S was still considered a vital and important letter of the alphabet, and I would never shame those people for their backwards ideas that they had so long ago. But clearly, we have updated to modern times, and now we can get rid of the S because the ZZ Titanic, or the ZZ if you're European, the ZZ Titanic sounds way cooler than the SS Titanic, if I'm being completely honest.
Going back on topic, because I want to share my thoughts on the mass incarceration, which,
Please do,
you
Mr.
know,
Knutz.
I think we should just take all the prisoners and move them to Chernobyl. And I think it would be economically beneficial and ecologically beneficial if we move everyone there. And they can clean up the mess so we can build another reactor. Because I think it's only moved humanity further. Like, we got new animals. We don't have people polluting there anymore. Like, I think it could be a great place to put prisoners that totally will be okay there for long term.
Now, the evolutionary zones around Chernobyl, Mr. Knutz, have clearly indicated that life has taken a long time to come back. So, are you saying that you believe this was an ecological benefit for the biosystem that exists in the area around the Chernobyl epicenter? Is that what you are telling us tonight, Mr. Knutz?
Mr. I am not a liar. You said a lot of words there, and I kind of zoned out for a second, but I think it's a great idea. And evolution, even if it may be slowed down, I think that's what Charles Darwin always wanted.
Spoken like a true politician. That is absolutely wonderful to hear. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we move on to our final question, Mr. Knutz? Clearly, you already know your subject matter expertise in that area, and I won't take too many jabs at you. So please, Mr. Moderator, if you would, the next question.
The next question is, how do you feel about refugees entering America?
Refugees entering America. Now, that's a very broad and difficult topic to cover. I know a lot of people have a lot of different feelings on it. Okay, but one thing's for sure. We have to make sure that people can live in climates where they're comfortable, not where they're too cold. Because if you get too cold, what happens? You freeze. And then you need like a blankie or a jacket or like a hot cocoa to warm up. And that's why I believe that penguins are not real, because they keep feeding us these lies that penguins, flightless birds that live in the Arctic, come on, get real, get out of here. Every winter, you know what I see? I see birds flying south. You know why? Because they want to be warm. Okay, they got to stay in the warmth. They got feathers and stuff, and they lay eggs, and they got to take care of their babies. And we've conducted at least 1.5 studies on this, and the evidence suggests that penguins are not real. You expect me to believe an entire continent of flightless birds the size of a small child or a rather large dog are just roaming about in the cold? Where do they get their food? They don't have any grass down there, no worms, no bugs, no nature to feed them. And you want to tell me that penguins are real? I think not. Okay, the American people have been lied to long enough. Clearly, we need to realign our stance on penguins and understand that fundamentally they are not real, and they are being pushed by Big Arctic to get you to go to a zoo and see all the little children that they have dressed up in those suits wandering around the exhibit pretending they're penguins. It's horrible. Horrible. I won't stand for it, and I want to see those zoos shut down. And that's why I can tell you that penguins are not real. Mr. Knutz, any rebuttals?
That's very insightful. I don't have a lot of knowledge on penguins because, frankly, I don't care.
Clearly.
But for someone
Mr. S.
who enjoys the cold, if We got refugees coming in and they just need to chill out. Don't listen to this guy. I got you covered. A vote for me is a vote for Ice Cream Fridays, where you can just chill out. If you got a penguin, you can feed him ice cream. There's food for your penguin. And
Not real. Fake news.
and we can feed your whole family. I don't know if it'll be free ice cream on Fridays, but with some taxpayer dollars, we could make it cheaper.
He's in such a rush to create his Ice Cream Fridays that he is forgetting about perhaps one of the most important topics tonight that we have not covered yet. And that is the fact that traffic lights have to go. Okay, traffic lights, no more of them. He wants to give out his Ice Cream Fridays for what? For how? You think you're going to get there sitting at a stoplight waiting for it to tell you to go or when it's okay to turn? No. You are a free human being living on this planet. You should be able to drive wherever you want to drive without the impedance of some blinking lights telling you which way you want to go. And roundabouts, get out of here. Who wants to drive in a circle? I tell you what, last Sunday I was driving. I came up on a roundabout. I didn't even know it was on the road. There was no warnings. I got caught in that thing for at least an hour and 37 minutes. I didn't know where I was supposed to get off. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. How do I make a turn if I'm constantly going in a circle? A regular square intersection, that I can deal with. Left, right, straight. 3 options, simple. And I'll tell you what, no traffic lights to impede my flow, to impede my moving. Baby, I got Freebird blasting and the pedal to the metal. I am getting from point A to point B as fast as possible. And it ain't to get no ice cream. Let me tell you that. It's to go out and get myself a nice big juicy hamburger, because that is what this country really needs. Just a good hamburger, light on the mayo, mustard if you want it, no tomato. A nice big hamburger. Clearly that's what we need to pull this all together. Do you want to vote for Ice Cream Fridays with stoplights, or do you want to get to your hamburger from then to now lickety split and have Leonard Skinner blowing in the background? That's what I'm talking about. That's what the Toblerone Party is all about.
I think if we can't get rid of lemurs, we can make lemur burgers. Why not? If we want them out, there we go.
That's the smartest thing you've said all evening, Mr. Knutz. Maybe my opponent isn't so bad after all, you know? Maybe he's got some good ideas here and there. He's not a perfect man, but every now and again, he puts on the old thinking cap. Literally.
That's kind of on. Mister, I am not a liar. I appreciate you not lying today at all about how you feel, or your character, or anything.
I've got one final question for you, Mr. Knutz. Just to get a hold of your economical policy, what would you do to help the waffle shortage in the Pacific Northwest right now? Because clearly that is one of the things that is engulfing our country, and that is the lack of waffles in the Pacific Northwest. They have had to resort to pancakes and in some cases, crepes. And so what I want to know is, what are your thoughts on how to solve the waffle shortage up in that part of our great country?
Well, I think the best solution is all the ships that are coming in delivering those waffles. We got to get up in that hollow moon and pilot it so it sends the waves going in the correct direction so we can get waffles to our people. And we will use lemur power to use it. They will be extinct from the planet, but not the moon, because we need them. We need them to survive. And if we can do that, there will be ice cream served with every waffle.
Now, Mr. Knutz has an interesting proposal. But let me tell you this. How does he plan to harness the power of those lemurs for the ships? No, I have a much better idea. But it does still involve waterways. Except instead of pushing the ships, we're digging. You've heard of the Panama Canal. Let's get ready for the Canada Canal. That's right. We're going to saw Canada completely off from the top half of the United States. One, It gives us a natural formation barrier against them so they can no longer send their evil icebergs to our ships. 2, it further separates them from the rest of the world, which, once again, I believe is justice enacted for that horrible tragedy that occurred so many years ago. And 3, we will have a nice open shipping lane to get in all of those waffles to the Pacific Northwest so that they can once again have an economical flourish in that region of the country. Because as we all know, crepes are just sad pancakes, and pancakes are subpart of waffles already. And so just right there, you have some great stepping stones that will build beautifully towards a wonderful, flourishing country. And that is my plan to solve the waffle shortage in the Pacific Northwest.
I
Thank
think
you, America.
what we need is some nuclear reactors in the Pacific Northwest that are built to code, if you know what I mean. And then we won't have to worry about feeding anyone waffles.
We can
Period.
feed them uranium.
Yes. And we will progress evolution together in the Pacific Northwest. Maybe we could make mega waffles.
The ecological impact will be foretold for generations beyond us in what we do to build those reactors in that area.
Yes.
But in that case, thank you, America. This has been a fantastic presidential debate. We have some closing remarks from each candidate before we cut things off for good. Mr. Knutz, I will pass you the honor. Would you like to go first?
Yes, I would like to say a quote from my favorite vice president we've ever had, Al Gore. And this quote comes from 2000, and his quote is, "During my service in the United States Congress, I took the initiative in creating the internet." Spoken like a true patriot.
Clearly. Thank you for your contributions to society. AOL, peak. Peak. AOL was peak.
It was peak
And
somewhere.
I've got a wonderful quote for you all this evening. It's an old saying in Tennessee. I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee. It says, "Fool me once, shame on you. You fool me, can't get fooled again." Clearly, we all know that one,
Yes.
as we've heard it tonight. But thank you so much, America, for tuning in to this night's presidential debate.
Comment,
Our absolutely improved BS. I don't know
comment
how we...
down below if you want Nuts or Nautalier for your president this year. And on a more serious note, this is all good fun. Obviously, lemurs are pretty cool.
I like lemurs. I like to move it.
But vote who you think is gonna make the best change in America. If you can vote, study if you need to, and I mean, just do what you think is right. That's all that matters.
That's not a liar. Nautilier. Not a liar.
Yes, the nautical Nautalier of the icebergs. But thank you for BSing with us today. If you would like another debate, that was a lot of fun, and we can come up with some more if you'd like to see it.
We're really getting our improv skills on the nose here. We've done quite a few improv ones for the last few, and I like it. You know, it's really bringing back the old 2014 era. Is that
that wasn't even improv, like proper improv? That was like that was ADHD. That's what that was.
that was children with unfiltered access to the internet is what that was.
Yeah,
Surely it didn't have lasting, irreparable consequences for the foreseeable future. We're totally fine.
Yeah, just like Chernobyl, we'll be fine. These are jokes.
What an ecological benefit Chernobyl was.
Thank you guys for watching this. We hope you enjoyed. stick around for more content. We got more improv coming your way and other hilarious content. We post 2 full videos a week, a short every day. We'll see you next time when we figure out who is the next president of the United States between the Ian and I.
When we figure out if the moon is actually made of cheese or if it's hollow.
Or if
But
it's
until
just
then-
a normal effing moon.
But until then, take her easy now.